My name is Cheryl Reum. Good afternoon, listeners around the world. I am a woman of substance, and I've had a fascinating life, and this gift of living is something that to me is the most amazing thing. We come onto this earth to experience a life of being in a human body and interacting with like-minded people and consciousness. My career has been interesting, but before that, of course, we're born. I came into this earth a good number of years ago, have had a fascinating childhood, moved 40 times, and went through a difficult 10 years in the first part of my life due to masculine suppression, which so many young girls do have, in the form of obviously being utilized in a way that was not actually in line for a young girl. I won't go into that too deeply, but it's a common thread and something many, many women do have to actually work through their lives. As a high school dropout, by circumstance more than anything else, a rebellious young woman, and didn't want to go back, to finish my schooling after I thought I had not passed, which I actually had. Went into a career of administration. It really wasn't my forte. And then went and found my journey through into a life of cosmetics with Justine, a South African, very, very beautiful product. Got to number 3 in the country and started to realize the value of leverage, of being able to actually utilize the strengths of other people to assist you through your journey. That was still a very egotistical time in my life. Went on then at the age of 36 and had a baby, went to Namibia, and actually also started a real estate agency at that time. This was the place to be, most definitely. I've discovered through property, and that is my passion. My passion is property, and I believe it is the tool which can be utilized by so many, and specifically for the empowerment of women. Fascinating fact is very few women will actually syndicate for property purchases, and herein lies a massive opportunity if we can just trust each other enough to do so. I do believe in being mentored and actually having coaches, and I have had this through my latter years, in the last 4 years, and it has made a dramatic impact. One of the main things I've learned is have a cushion. Have a cushion of 10% of all your income you put into this cushion account, and once there is sufficient in there, the world is your oyster and you can decide to do with it as you please. I spent the last 4 years of my life, I took a sabbatical. I had acquired a very big, quite a large property portfolio, and I released a number of these properties then to be able to go and have a last chapter of life, which is completely different to anything I've done before. I was married for 38 years. I got divorced, my choice, and went to go and have a life of freedom and absolute ability to do as I please with having this cushion. It's a simple philosophy, and it really, really works. My desire is for upliftment of people, and I have a legacy that I've left behind me for many. I'm happy, I'm cheerful, I'm sunshine. I have many AKAs, Mama Africa, and I have touched lives along my journey as an egg lifter, sunny side up always, and have the ability to negotiate and also to see in every circumstance that there is always a positive way forward. Never look for the problem, always find the solution. One thing I'd like to impart to everybody, your process wherever you are is not ever stagnant. You are the master of change, and you can do your own manifestation. One of my catchphrases, and a common one, is ask, believe, and receive. And indeed, this is the way to go forward. Be in faith, and with that faith, you can go through absolutely anything. I would like to offer my ability, my services in the property industry to anybody who'd like to inquire of starting up a property portfolio worldwide. Advice is there to be had. I'm not an expert in every field of it, but certainly have the ability through 30 years of long experience to impart little gems of wisdom. Over to you, Marina, and thank you so much for hosting me here today. It's a great pleasure to be able to speak publicly.
Wow, Cheryl. Oh, what a privilege. Welcome. Welcome to Radio World. And for our listeners, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to meet this amazing woman and learn to ask, believe, and receive. Over to you, Cheryl.
Absolutely. We all come into states of our life where we think our situation is hopeless, where we're under suppression, where we feel that settling is the only alternative. Wrong. You have a choice. You always have a choice. choice, and that choice must always serve you first, because in a very cliched way, and it's so true, until you are true to yourself, love yourself completely, and you are able to feed first the recipient of your life's essence, you cannot give to others. And this is a fault many women make in trying to appease and please everybody around them. They sublimate their own selves and their own desires and wishes and become second-class citizens within their own realm, which is a tragic situation. So I'm very strong on liberation of women and upliftment and empowerment of women. Having said that, I definitely do need a bra. Gravity does play its role as one matures. And to think that if people are thinking, well, that's easy for you to say, I can't do it, I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm too indifferent. My age is 64. And I've started a last chapter of this life existence now with something amazing new. Real estate industry, once again relaunching my career brand new with all the youngsters around with techno and just learning so much from the different age spectrums. We need to sit, we need to be able to embrace everybody. You never, never, never are too old, stupid, ignorant, or anything of any of those horrible words. Just be who you are, be bright.
If anything, Cheryl, I think what is most expensive than ignorance? You see, you mentioned second-class citizen. Could you please tell us at what point in your life you felt that way? What happened? Why you felt as a second-class citizen, and why you feel?
That's an interesting question.
And why you feel there are thousands of women and around the world, not only in South Africa, who carry that feeling, and they don't necessarily know their choices. They have other choices. So what is that moment, to start with, what is that moment that make you feel as a second-class citizen, knowing that you have full rights, you are a great person. You are not just a woman, or you are a great person. You have a great voice. You have a great message. And I know there are layers and layers of experiences, not all of them, to empower you. But eventually something clicked, something made you decide that you cannot be feel like a second class citizen while you are a full citizen. It's a little bit of a nonsense going on, in everybody's mind. And our listeners, if they could relate to this, they please come to us and talk to us, join our conversation. So what you see, it's like you are driving a car and you signal left, but you go right. So you are a citizen, you are born as citizen, you have all the rights like everybody else, and yet you feel you are second-class citizen. What made you feel as a second-class citizen?
Thank you for coming in on that. It's a very personal story, as so many are. For the first 10 years of my life, I was in a situation of sexual abuse through incest. And at the age of 13, I stood up and I said, no more, and you will hear my voice. And my voice got heard loudly from then on. And I think it's quite important to share that. I've kept it a very, very close secret for 62 years of my life. And with that, I still went forward and actually propelled myself into many, many arenas of success, notwithstanding. But by making oneself vulnerable, I think it has even more value to be able to say, I have had an experience, as so many, 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 many women do. And notwithstanding that, don't be the victim, become the victor. You override, you move past, and you, in spite of any situation that has occurred in your childhood, and there are many, you move ahead. And in that, you are able to take your own strength and power and not be a diminisher of any other, well, of the other race, or the other part of us, the other gender, male, female. But you embrace that situation and you actually utilize it to your own strength to move ahead, to know that you are equal in every possible way, and you become self-sufficient in not looking to a husband, not looking to a male partner, not looking to a friendship, not looking to somebody else to support you. But first and foremost, you have the power, you have the strength, you have the integrity, the honesty to look straight ahead, no matter what has happened to you in your life, and to gain that sense of 100% magnificence.
Wow. Wow, Cheryl, I'm so humble listening to you and thinking, Oh my God. What was that decisive moment in your life when you turn your life from being a victim into being a victory, a champion of your own life? What happened? What actually happened?
At that point in my life, I actually removed myself from a situation of suppression by
So
saying no more.
you could not change the circumstances, but instead
They are very,
you changed the way you look at things. You change your thoughts. You said to yourself, wait a minute, why am making this compromise? I only live once. What can I do
I,
right now to escape this slavery and free my spirit, free my mind, and see what I could do right now?
it was a very interesting moment, actually, and it was a very real moment in the strength of, at the age of 13, I was given a pair of white high heel shoes and a white bag, and that was a gift from a person who had me in suppression, a male, and that was an intention of ownership, and I said, I'm worth so much more. Broke away, and from that point on, I said, never, ever, ever again will I be in a situation where somebody else's value can be imposed on me. I will impose my own value. I will move ahead at a speed and a space that will never, ever stop me in any way. And having said that, didn't make me a militant. I've been a wife, I've been a mother, I've been a friend to many, many, many people. I've helped people, I've lifted them up. But the one key to that is it was a choice of my own at the age of a tender age, a young age, 13 years old, to
But Cheryl,
say no more.
I mean, aren't you a child at 13? I mean, in the rest of the world, when you are 13, you are a child. You are not even a young woman. You are a child. So how you got yourself into that situation? What happened? Who dragged you into that place where you're definitely confused, terrified? How you got to be um, you know, depending on somebody who was buying you your whole life for a pair of white high heels shoes and a white bag? How was
It's
that
a
even
very
possible?
insidious situation. It's an insidious situation of incest through a family member, and often male family members have access to young grandchildren, which was the situation, and that was what actually happened. And then I decided no more, no more. And from that point on, that was a break point in my life. And for 60 odd years, I kept that a complete secret. And it was part of my life that was there and was never, never made visible or opened up or spoken about. And about 18 months, 2 years ago, when I came to the Cape, there was an incident, and that made me release it. And at that point, I realized how many women are put through varying degrees of the same situation and keep it as a secret through their lives, almost as if it was something that they were responsible for. We know what we're talking about as women in this situation. And very often it denies a life of brilliance. It denies a life of going ahead and making a mark in the world. People become minimized, victimized. They can never do anything because of this past history. I wasn't like that. I stood up against it and I moved past it and I moved forward and created a life that was completely different. But I feel there is a value in being able to share this with many, to say, no matter what happens, you can move, you can choose, you can be whatever you want to be. And my little girl, when she was born when I was 37, my only child, a daughter, I used to put her on my shoulder and I used to sing to her, you can be anything you want to be. You can be anything at all. And that's a message I'd like to give to people out there.
Wow, Cheryl, I'm so grateful you are sharing with our listeners today this tragedy, because you see, when an accident happens, then whatever the outcome, you leave it behind and move on. But to live for 62 years with that terrible secret in your heart, and feeling that it was your fault, I think that there is no greater tragedy than this. And how you felt? I mean, how you've been coping? What techniques you created, or how you help yourself going through those decades of keeping that secret and not releasing your truth, because each one of us got their own truth. And surely when you hold on your truth is because you don't feel you are worth it. You don't feel it's worthwhile sharing your truth. So how that made you feel?
What it does, it makes you, well, in my case, made me very defiant, made me rebellious, made me intent to prove myself in every possible way and to achieve. And that was a very positive thing, because in the world of property and acquisition and doing actual property deals and working and acquiring finance and looking after my own family and looking after other people, it was very positive, because I do feel that we come to this earth to have lessons and to actually learn, and it's a teaching. So I thank the perpetrator of that particular situation for teaching me and giving me the opportunity to rise beyond it, because until we do rise beyond our circumstance, we have not learned the lesson.
Wow, Cheryl. I feel so humble, and I'm sure our listeners will get in touch with you, and they will want to learn more, and they will want to connect with you because the beautiful person you are. And
Thank you.
I was wondering, what will be your key message? How do you think people could deal with denial?
The one way to deal with it's not denial, actually, it's acknowledgement. And I think the one way to deal with that is to actually be able to speak your truth, but no, regardless of consequence. To come out and say, this is my life, this is who I am. Like a blemished apple, you might have had a situation of bruising, but it didn't actually take the value of your nourishment away from you.
Wow, Cheryl. Thank you so much for sharing your story with our listeners today. I hope you'll be back soon. And from both of us, until next time, is goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.